Alabama and Auburn know how to stockpile top talent almost seamlessly. Chris Womack and Rivals analyst Andrew Bone join us in studio now to discuss the recruiting landscape heading into 2016.
Well, Lauren, you may remember a couple years ago when a young Lauren Sisler was going through some recruiting. Well, this weekend, a bunch of college football coaches are going to try and do some flipping of their own. And to sort all of that out, we're going to bring in Andrew Bone, a reporter for TideSports.com and Rivals. Andrew, first off, it's a big weekend in Tuscaloosa, not just because it's the third Saturday in October.
That's right. Big recruiting weekend, and just about every time you get an SEC game between two SEC teams, of course, a rivalry game like Alabama and Tennessee, it's going to attract a lot of recruits. And big weekend down in Tuscaloosa. They're going to have a lot of their commitments are coming back on campus, including five-star offensive tackle Jonah Williams out of California. They're also going to have some big names in the 2016 and 2017 recruiting classes in the country. Probably the number one player in the country for 2017, Marvin Wilson, a defensive tackle out of Texas. He's going to be on hand, so that's a big player on campus this weekend.
Yeah, a big star-studded weekend in Tuscaloosa. Within the state in the class of 2016, it seems like the front seven is really a strength in the top half. I believe Rivals' top 5 players in the state of Alabama are all in the front 7.
Oh, yeah.
Within those 5, there's a big 3, in my opinion, with Ben Davis, Lindell Wilson, and Marlon Davidson. They're all top 10 nationally in y'all's preseason rankings. Davidson's already verbally committed to Auburn. Where do the other 2 stand?
Well, Davidson's still verbally committed to Auburn, but still being recruited by a lot of schools. Says that he's going to take all 5 of his official visits, including maybe one to Alabama, Georgia, maybe Florida State. He's looking at a lot of schools right now. He also wants to try to get up to Michigan for a visit. Ben Davis, the number 1 recruit in the state of Alabama out of Gordo High School, 5-star linebacker, still wide open with his recruitment. He's really not giving away too much. Now, his father, Wayne Davis, played at the University of Alabama, so a lot of people assume that he's going to Alabama, but he really doesn't want people to assume that.
Now, we already touched on Marlon Davidson. You've also got Trey Threat, John Broussard, all committed to Auburn, all defensive studs. A lot of people thought Will Muschamp would have a strong impact on recruiting when he got signed on by Gus Malzahn. What kind of impact are you seeing from Muschamp?
Well, he has had a strong impact, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You saw that with the close of the 2015 class, getting the number 1 recruit in the country in Byron Cowart. What's going to happen this year? They already got Marlon Davidson, Trey Threat, John Broussard. Those are some of the elite in-state prospects. What are they going to do from here until National Signing Day? They've got a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of linebackers that they're still recruiting. Rashawn Gary, the number 1 defensive tackle in the country out of New Jersey. A lot of interest in Auburn and Alabama, but I think Auburn probably has a better chance than Alabama does right now. I think they'll get an official visit down the road.
So Alabama hosting Tennessee today. Tennessee actually has a commit from Leeds with Tadero Marshall, but Marshall has a teammate, Trey Nation, that I'm just fascinated by. I believe he entered this season with 75 touchdowns. What are you hearing about Trey Nation's recruitment?
I like Trey a lot. I've been watching him ever since his ever since his freshman year. He's been a stud for Leeds High School. I also helped them win the state championship last year, and I know that he's a great player. I think that he's going to end up, somewhere, down the road. Maybe a bigger offer, maybe in January, December. A lot more schools going to come in and see him. But right now, some of the big schools that are on him, Cincinnati, Mississippi State, Louisville, I think maybe a bigger SEC school is going to come in down the road and offer him. But he broke the all-time rushing record at Leeds High School. But he's a great player, right at about 5'11", 220 pounds. He's a outstanding football player.
And an awesome name. Trey Nation sounds like the Stephen Curry fan club or something.
For sure. But that's a real good team with him and Tadero Marshall.
Absolutely. Leeds definitely looking solid this year. You mentioned Rashawn Gary. He, along with guys like Gregory Little, headline really a group of 5 stars that have not committed yet and sort of like Ben Davis, haven't really shown their hand too much. Where do Alabama and Auburn stand with some of those guys?
Well, as I mentioned with Rashawn Gary, I think Auburn has I think they've got a decent shot to get him. I would probably put the edge towards Michigan right now. He's got a former coach who's at Michigan, and it's probably going to be tough to beat for him right now. But Greg Little is taking an official visit to Auburn. He's going to take an official visit to Alabama. Has a big decision coming up on November the 4th. I think it's going to come down to Alabama, Ole Miss for him. He's got a lot of interest in Ole Miss. He has a teammate committed to Ole Miss, but Alabama feels really good about its chances right now with Greg Little. We mentioned Lindell Wilson earlier, another in-state 5-star recruit, one of the top linebackers in the country. He's keeping an open mind. He released the top 8 here recently. Said that Florida's #1 on his list, so we kind of see the Gators coming into the state of Alabama making a big impact. I think that a lot of other schools still have a really good chance with him. He likes LSU, likes Ole Miss. At the end of the day, I think Alabama's going to be the team to beat, but right now Florida has the edge.
Yeah, that could be that Jim McElwain influence.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, the recruit in Florida generating a lot of excitement. Eddie Pinheiro, have you ever seen a kicker with this much hype?
I don't know if I have. You look at Eddie Pinheiro's highlight videos that he posts on his Twitter account. He's an Alabama commitment. He's got an interesting story. He was a soccer player growing up, soccer player his senior year in high school, and he was asked by the football team to come out and kick for them. And so he went out, kicked the last, I think, 5 games of his senior season in high school, and really impressed a lot of people. Now he's at ASA College in Miami, Florida right now on a soccer scholarship, but he is committed to Alabama for football. He's going to kick at Alabama. He's going to enroll in January. But, you look at some of his highlight videos, he's kicking 65, 70-yard field goals just about every time he posts something. So, we'll see what it's like when he gets down to Tuscaloosa and, has some people coming after him. But so far what we've seen is a extremely strong leg.
For all the hype and all the news with recruiting, it's Andrew J. Bone on Twitter. So thank you, Andrew, for taking a little time to talk some recruiting with us. Lauren, back over to you.